Hi guys, how are you all doing? I'm honored to be in your homes today. I'm hoping you're all well and you've been flipping up those menus at home. Special shouts to all of you, our viewers, our subscribers, most especially the subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. Our goal was that by the end of next month we have 1,000 subscribers. We are far from that goal, and I'm hoping that new viewers would also subscribe and we can together make nice meals at home. Today I thought of making mushrooms. I have one type of mushrooms and it's the one we are going to be using to make this different meal today. These are mushrooms that I'm going to be using. They are the fresh type, they are not dried. So I'll start off by soaking them in water so that whatever impurities are on there can get off. You can use as many as you want mushrooms. This is what I have for my servings, so this is what I'm going to work with. I'll get my water and soak them up so that all the dirtiness is left at the bottom and my mushrooms stay clean and ready for me to use in the cooking. So as they rest and the impurities get off, this is what I have to use today. I have myself some onions, and of course I'm going to chop up other onions because I need more of onions. I have cornmeal, I have green pepper, some carrots, and some spring onions, some blended tomatoes, ginger powder, garlic powder, black pepper. I've got some curry on there. I've got some mixed spices and beef masala. I've used beef masala simply because I want my mushrooms to have all the different flavors, and when you introduce them at the stage that I'm going to, they give you the impression you're having meat when actually you're having mushrooms. So I'm chopping up my carrots for now into smaller sizes, but to the size of my mushrooms. I don't want my mushrooms overwhelmed. I'm not going to cut them up so thin, so that is why I'm not cutting up my carrots too thin. I want them to make a good blend together. Guys, mushrooms are one of those quick meals that you can still make at home and enjoy. I've chosen that because it's not only that mushrooms are tasty, but they are also quick to cook. They are nutritious, and if you cook them right, it would be one of those things that you add to your menus at home and you'd be able to enjoy them together as a family. The first time I made mushrooms at home, because there are different ways of making mushrooms, the first time I made them, my kids thought it was meat, but a different kind of meat, because there are different types of mushrooms that you can have at home depending on where you buy your foodstuffs. But they are the dry ones, they are the white ones small, they are white ones large. I mean, you can have, even today, like if I had many mushrooms, I would have mixed different mushrooms and made myself a nice mushroom sauce, but I have only one type. Remember, this channel is about cooking made easy at home. So whatever it is that you have, you go ahead and enjoy yourself a good meal. Now, I'm going to show you what I have. These are spring onions. I have some yogurt here that I'm also going to add to my sauce to make it creamy and richer. Yogurt is one of those secrets to a good sauce. Now I will not cut my green pepper small. I'll cut them a bit big chunked because my mushrooms are also not small chunked. I'm going to cut them big so that together they can make a nice blend. Mushrooms take a short time to cook, but you can bake them. There are different ways of making them. My way is this one today. You can go ahead and flip it up and add it to your menu. See how it goes for you. If you like it, you could use that as one of the ways of making your mushroom sauce at home for a change. I've also used a tomato, one tomato, because I already have the blended ones. So now I've finished cutting up my tomatoes. These are also big chunks for a reason. I want them seen because remember I already have the blended ones that will help thicken my sauce and make it nice and lovely. Also among my ingredients is okra powder. Okra is a very good thickener. For those of you who didn't know, okra powder is a good thickener of sauces. So I'm going to use it as well. I'll use a teaspoon of it. And okra is also nutritious. So if you learn to add it to your menus, that would also be good. Now I've finished chopping up my vegetables. Time for me to deal with, I've got to also cut up this onion. Then I'll cut up the mushrooms. They will have had enough time to soak and drain themselves of all the impurities. My chunks are quite big, so that's okay because I need them seen when they get to meet the mushrooms. Now all my vegetables are done. Time to deal with my mushrooms. Now I'm taking my mushrooms out of the water, ensuring that they are clean. So that means you do these ones one by one, depending on the condition of your mushrooms. I don't trust mine, so I'm going about them one by one. And once you're happy with the way they look, you can do away with the water and start dealing with the mushrooms. Now, this is how my mushrooms look. Time for me to chop them up. I don't want them to disappear in my pan, so I'm not going to cut them up too small. I'm just going easy on them. Just one slice. Mushrooms are very soft, except when you buy the dried up type. So once you've chopped them up like this, time to get frying and cooking of mushrooms. I'm going to use okra in there, and I'm going to use also some Royco mchuzi mix. That is a Ugandan product, but if you have it in where you're at, that's okay. But you can use any spice really. You don't have to stick to just mine. You can use any other spice that you have at home to cook your mushrooms. Now I'm going to turn on the heat and put my mushrooms on fire. Now I've put my pan on fire and I've put in some bit of oil. Also, this depends on how much of the mushrooms you're going to use. If there are many mushrooms you're dealing with, you could use some more oil. But if your mushrooms are few, you don't have to use a lot of oil. First will be my onions and garlic. I have garlic powder. I'll put my onions first because I want to get that aroma out of them so that my mushrooms have that good aroma of onions. So I'm putting the onions. The other one sneaked and got in before I could let it in. I'll let it stay because at the end of the day even the carrots will come. So you let your onions fry, though not for long. You just want them to have a head start to give off that good aroma to your mushrooms. But don't let them brown. You want everything still colorful at the end of the day. Now, this would be for maybe about 2 minutes, just to sizzle them, and then you can bring in the garlic after. So I'm putting my garlic. I'm not using a lot of garlic simply because I have garlic powder as well. So this bit that I've put is just a little bit because at the end of the day there is that garlic powder that will seal off the deal. Now once you've started smelling those aromas of garlic and onions, because I can smell them in the house, then time for me to put my carrots. I'm putting the carrots at this point because I want them to soften, so that by the time I put my mushrooms, they don't have to cook for long. They should be ready in a short time. I'm going to give my mushrooms about 5 minutes of cooking. I don't want them to overcook. I want to have something to bite through as I'm eating. So I'll cover for now, give it about 2 minutes for my carrots to soften, and then I'll be able to add other ingredients. 2 minutes are up. Time for me to check on my vegetables. Guys, the aromas of onions and garlic, before even the mushrooms come in, this is how it looks. Now time for me to add in my tomatoes, both the chopped up ones and blended tomatoes. Like I said before, if you use blended tomatoes and you find like they could be on the high side, you add in a teaspoon of sugar, depending on how much you use. If according to your measurements, the tomatoes are just right, you don't have to add sugar. But if you don't think they are at the same scale, then you can add in a spoonful of sugar, a teaspoon of sugar, so that you can break down the acids in the tomatoes. Now you can mix this up. We want to be able to still see our ingredients at the end of the day, so we don't overcook them. Remember, this is vegetables. They are healthy whether raw or cooked. So I'll cover again for another 2 minutes and then bring in other ingredients. Mushrooms can go very well with any ingredient, any foods. You can have mushrooms on ugali for those of you who are in Kenya. You can have mushrooms on posho for those of you who are in Uganda. Mushrooms on cornbread for those of you who are in other countries. But also mushrooms go well with rice, plantain, which is green banana for some, You can have mushrooms with potatoes, Irish potatoes, sweet potatoes, with cassava. You can have mushrooms with just about any food you could think of. So go ahead and add them to your menu and see how it turns out. Now, my tomatoes have cooked, but I need to be able to still see them, like these bits before they are squashed. Then I add in my mushrooms. Time for me to add in the mushrooms and let them get to know the vegetables that are already in before them. Allow the onions to have time to get to know them, the garlic, before anything goes on. Now I'll mix my ingredients. You see how big my chunks are? I need to be able to see those chunks at the end of the day. Now time for me to add in my spices. And adding in my curries. I told you I'm going to use okra, I'm going to use garlic powder, ginger, I'm going to use curry, mixed spices, and the salt. Many people use salt differently. Some want their food really salty. I don't, so I'll just use just enough salt for my mushroom sauce, and I'll mix so that my mushroom can absorb all the ingredients that are in the pot. I'm also going to put in a teaspoon of soy sauce. This will also help. See how it's thickened just by adding spices. So for those of you who are wondering what components can I use to thicken my sauce, spices are one of them. But remember, I told you okra thickens sauces. Because okra thickens sauces, you can see from my pot that it's already thickened. Now that is soy sauce. I've used a teaspoon of that to help with the color, because I need my mushrooms colored a bit. Now this is where the bit of salt comes in. You need to be careful if you're going to use soy sauce, because if you use soy sauce and use a lot of salt, then your sauce can be a bit salty. Now I'm going to add in some water. There's some black pepper in here to just help pull all the spices together. And there's also some chili mix to help give that kick to my mushrooms. I'll cover these for about 2.5 minutes, then I'll open and add something else. Time to check on our mushrooms, see how they're doing. Yes, this is looking nice, guys. Smells lovely. You would not believe it's mushrooms. Now I'm going to add my spring onions. This I did for a reason, so that my mushrooms still retain those aromas. I'm also going to add my oatmeal, and my green peppers. I'll leave some for the garnishing. But as for now, that is how my mushroom sauce looks. Guys, see how the consistency is just right? You would not believe these are mushrooms, and when it comes to eating, they would taste like you're eating meat. For those of you who don't eat meat anymore, for either health reasons or for personal reasons, Mushrooms could be a good addition to your menu. They are not only nutritious, easy to cook, and they are so you give them time to cook, and then so that the green pepper cooks and loses the rawness but still fresh, because I mean you can have green peppers when they are raw, but you let them lose the rawness and the hot meal so that the flavors come out, and then you get ready to plate. I like when I can still be able to see and tell that these are my mushrooms. If you try it at home, you would see that it's a different way, but again, very good. Now, I'll take off the heat because they've been on for 2 minutes, the green peppers and hot milk. I'll take off the heat and then let them cool and add some yogurt to my sauce. When I add yogurt, the heat has to be off so that I can be able to get the desired flavors and consistency, taste before I serve. Now I'm adding my yogurt right now because the heat is off, and let it sit as I work on the food that I'm going to serve with my mushrooms. In my case, I'm going to serve my mushrooms with matoke, or what we call green banana, or what others call plantain. It all depends on, it doesn't matter what you call it, as long as you know it's matoke in Uganda, green banana for those of you who are not here, plantain for those of you who are in Nigeria, my friends in India, Jamaica. Yeah, it's plantain that I'm going to serve with this. You will love it, guys. At the end of the day, you will feel like you ate healthy, and you will thank me later. If you like the menu, guys, please let me know so I can know that you loved it, or how you found it when you cooked it at home. See how mine looks? Guys, this is nutritious and tasty at the same time. Now, time for me to cover as I prepare the food that I'm going to serve with my mushroom sauce. Now, time for me to plate my mushroom sauce. Guys, do you see the colors? Do you see the goodness? This is a meal that you can remember. Mushroom sauce, so easy to make, yet sumptuous feeling. Now I'll garnish it with just a few peppers. This is to give my sauce a color. Now time for me to plate my mushroom sauce. Now guys, that's how my meal will be plated, with just plain green banana, or what you call plantain, or matoke in Uganda. For those of you who are in Uganda, that is how I would plate my mushrooms. And trust me, whoever you're serving this would not be quick to know that they are mushrooms, because it's nice and creamy. The consistency is just right. If to scoop out a scoop of my mushroom sauce, this is how it would look. You see the consistency? If you served this just even for a flip of your menus, kids would love this because they wouldn't know exactly what this is. You would love it. Your friends would love it. Just look at this. And then if you serve it with your matoke, like I'm going to enjoy it with my matoke. See how my mushrooms are still in place? This is beautiful, guys. Until next time, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. God bless and bye-bye.